All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people just like you, just like me. So Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull, they've roared back to life. There is a new song. If you're a fan of Jethro Tull, I think you will probably like the music of the song, and maybe you'll like the lyrics of the song, but I will be addressing the theme of the song. Also, I don't believe Martin Barre went along for this particular ride, which, if you know Jethro Tull, you know the work of guitarist Martin Barre. And if you're a true old school Tull fan, I just don't think Tull is Tull without Martin Barre. He's just too important. By the way, Martin Barre has been out there touring with his own band, sort of paying tribute to the 50th anniversary of the Aqualung album. Think about all of the Jethro Tull music that used to be on the radio that just vanished. I know Tull is an acquired taste. Flutes, rock and roll, really good bluesy guitar work. It doesn't appeal to everybody. Sometimes it's folk music, sometimes it's rock music, sometimes it's bluesy stuff. The Tull from the late 1960s, just really fascinating music. And then even the bit of revival that went on during the late 80s and early 90s, where Tull actually wins a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock and Heavy Metal Album. And I always like to tell the story, beating out Metallica and driving the rock media over the edge crazy, because how could this happen? Even Ian Anderson kind of made fun of the situation by saying that the flute, of course, is a heavy metal instrument. So good for him for doing that back in those days. Not so much now, in the sense that lyrics from this title track, the Zealot Gene, which is out there to listen to, are really just a knock at the working class, at the regular Joe who goes out and casts a vote for someone who he believes or she believes will do something for flyover country. They'll do something to secure the country, where not every person in the world is allowed to migrate to one place, that there are checks and balances. People are going to that country with the best of motives. Now, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm going to tell you here exactly what Ian Anderson says about the Zealot Gene. He says the title track offers many allusions to the radical, politically charged world of populism in leadership. All right, populism. So populism, if you look at the definition, it's basically doing what the people want you to do. That is populism. So apparently we need some kind of elitism or egalitarianism where the top looks at the rest and says, no, we're not doing what they want. We're doing what's best for them. Look at the medical tyranny that's happening right now. And of course, Anderson, with all that going on, Anderson steers clear of that and basically attacks, let's just be honest here, he's going after Donald Trump. It's probably, at that time, Trump was either still the president or he's just one of these people that they can't stop thinking about. As he goes on, as a song lyric, it sums up for me the divisive nature of societal relationships and the extreme views which fuel the fires of hate and prejudice, more so today perhaps than at any time in history. Perhaps you think you know who I might have been thinking about here. In reality, there are probably right now at least 5 prominent dictatorial national figures who could fit the bill. Now, what's weird is he doesn't call out the lockdowns, the incessant rules and mandates. He is not angry at the class of politician who seems to want to intentionally hurt their citizens. Populism is basically something that comes from the bottom up. And the people themselves say, we want this to happen, and we will elect this person to make that happen. Now, this idea of hate and prejudice is something that the media likes to throw around. It's just not true. Most people want to mind their own business. And if they want to, say, secure their country from an invasion, that is now considered, I don't know. There's xenophobia. That's one I hear a lot. You're xenophobic because you want a secure border, or you want your country to have a system where people can be assimilated in. And even the word assimilation now is looked at as racist or bigoted, or I can't even wrap my brain around how much the language has drifted from the mooring, where it used to be. But this is what Anderson is talking about, and this is what the song is about. This would have been an opportunity, by the way, for moderation for him, because he likes to talk about, hey, I'm the guy in the middle. I'm the moderation person. But yet he's preaching to the heartland of America and other places where everybody feels abandoned by these elitists. Some people call them globalists. They're all basically carving up the earth, and they're going to do what they want to do. And if you don't survive, this culling of humanity, that's because you weren't supposed to be here. Your time is up. Your 15 minutes of fame is done with. And no mention of the medical tyranny and the problems that's created, far greater than any populist uprising. And look, nation states should be allowed to determine their own destiny. Even places that I don't like, they should be allowed to do what they want to do, so long as they're not hurting their own people, and so long as they're not hurting other nation states who are also doing self-determination. Now, this is way off the beaten track from music, but this is some serious serious subject matter. And in addition to not having Martin Barr in the band, you're throwing it out there basically that you're, the best friend of any real dictator who's out there, whether it's the governor of Washington State, whether it's the prime minister of Canada, any of these places where France, where you've got a dictatorial government in progress, that doesn't qualify in Ian Anderson's world of, bottom-up populism and so-called hate and prejudice. People don't hate other groups of people. People hate the fact that their country, its morals, its culture is being homogenized and almost like deleted out and replaced by something that's mediocre and that's boring. And it doesn't have any, you don't have a national identity anymore. And that's something like when you go outside and it's the way you look, and it's the way you dress, and it's the way you talk, and it's how you interact with other human beings. I mean, the people in Russia have a national identity, right? I may not like Vladimir Putin, but it's clear that they have kept their culture, and they continue to try to export their culture, or at least they're patriotic, they're nationalistic, right? And that is all now associated with hate and prejudice, according to Ian Anderson. I'm not sure if he would include Putin on his list of the 5, but, it should be noted that, again, countries have the right to exist, and they have a right to self-determine. And if they want a populist leader who's actually going to do the bidding of the working class, the proletariat, those people who are mostly forgotten about now because they're not considered intellectual, they're not considered important, they're not contributing in a meaningful way to society, even though these are the carpenters, the builders, the plumbers, the electricians. These are the people that keep the country going, truck drivers. All of these people are the reason that you have stuff. And it's not just like, I need a new couch because I don't like the color of my old couch. It's the food that you eat, right? It's necessities, things that you need each and every day to survive. And this is all a knock on that stuff. This has been an ongoing knock on the blue collar worker, on just maybe the great unwashed, if you want to call them that, or they're not college educated, which is probably the best thing for them. This is what Ted Nugent said the other day to me, by the way. He said, hey, you must not have gone to college. Unfortunately, I did go to college, and I didn't really learn much from college. That's how I got into radio. I was more interested in going to the radio station and doing that than going to my boring management science classes where, these theories that they would put out there didn't have much to do with real world entrepreneurial, learning those skills. It just didn't have much to do with that at all. But again, you can be a self-taught, smart, wise person and navigate this world and be very successful. And I would consider that populism. So anyway, kind of a long-winded video here. Is the song any good? The song is pretty good if you can get over the lyrics and get over the fact that Martin Barr is not there. All right. Do we need Jethro Tull? Sure. Would it be nice to have Jethro Tull maybe address a few other problems in the world rather than focus on a guy who is no longer the president of the United States? Yeah, it would be good, but I don't think we're going to hear that. It's not like Farm on the Freeway, which was a legitimate problem, a legitimate issue. These people have all shifted from worrying about the working class to essentially telling the working class that they're voting for the wrong people and that they need to vote for oligarchs, because the oligarchs are going to make the world a better place, and they're going to tell you what to do with your life, and you'll be happier if you follow the oligarchs. It's opposite day, and it's sad. And these people, as they get older, Ian Anderson, I think he's old enough to know, but he just follows, the national public radio trade winds, and it's just sad. So in any event, that's my video. Way complicated on this, way too political and geopolitical, but this is the song. Go listen to it. It's called The Zealot Game. You and I are the zealots in the game. That's what this is about. We are the zealots that are creating these horrible leaders who are trying to do what the people want them to do.